What is up, everybody? So, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I understand why they do this. Back in the day, I know a lot of people remember this. You go up to the gas station, like, "Hey, man, you throwing out those hot dogs?" And you're like, "Yeah, man. You want some? Hell yeah!" And they're like, "All right, go ahead, have at them." You fucking load up on some hot dogs or whatever. I understand why people don't do that anymore, or why they're not allowed to. I know that at certain gas stations and companies are like, we can't, it's a liability issue, we can't give away, and they throw away tons of sandwiches, tons of hot dogs every day. They just throw them away because their corporate says, nope, we can't give them away anymore. Well, employees can't even eat them because it's a liability issue. And it's not a liability issue. What it is most sandwiches and stuff have like a 4 or 6 hour hold time, meaning they can be in the cooler or the warmer things for 4 to 6 hours, and then they have to be tossed. What's happening is, and this only takes a few to ruin it for everyone, is employees that were, putting the stuff out, and then an hour later they're like, God damn, I'm hungry. Oh well, this is bad, and then their companies were losing too much money, so they said, fuck it, nope, you caught eating, it's stealing. Well, I understand why, but I know a lot of companies have loss prevention that's geared more towards employee theft than whatever theft, customer theft. And it's if they can go back, and most places nowadays have pretty advanced security systems that they can rewind up to 72 hours or 30 days. They can go back 30 days in their camera systems and see. It's not that hard to say, okay, well, here's when they put out those hot dogs or sandwiches. And okay, yeah, it's been 4 hours, and they're taking them off and they're throwing them away. Okay, they wanted to eat them. All right, no big deal. I'm not letting them go to waste. I just don't get that. Or, I don't agree with giving them to homeless people and stuff like that, because then what that just draws them in is the free soup kitchen. And I've worked at gas stations that people have done that, and guess what? That just draws them in. And also you got a bunch of hobo crackheads hanging out outside your store. Nope. I won't ever give them away, but if employees want them, be like, hey man, about to throw away these sandwiches and hot dogs. Hey, you want one? No, all right, cool, throw them away then, whatever. But it's I just don't get that. I get it, but I don't get it. There's a lot of food waste in gas stations and stuff that personally I think it'd be more economical if gas stations didn't preheat the food. Just, because I know that some gas stations, they'll have their sandwiches that they put in warmers. They'll have them in a cooler that's, they're good for 7-8 days before they got to be thrown away in the cooler, where they're only good for 4 hours after they've been heated up. Well, same with their hot dogs. Their hot dogs are good for a week and a half, 2 weeks in the cooler. Well, what if gas stations and companies that did that type of stuff started going, okay, well, if you want it, we have a list of, we have hot dogs here and they're this much, and it takes us 2 seconds to warm them up in our little toaster oven or microwave or whatever. I know Circle K's and Wawa's and racetracks have actual ovens and stuff that they use to warm up their foods. It takes them a couple minutes to warm shit up. So it's I understand that that's another job for employees to do, but just think of the money that would be saved in wasteful food if they just warmed it up on demand. Or the sandwiches they didn't even touch. Hey, you want a sandwich? It's a hot sandwich, but we got a microwave right there. Warm that shit up if you want. I think it would save companies millions upon millions of dollars and save from wasting so much food every day, every night, every year. Tons, literally tons of food goes to the landfill. That if they just stopped warming them up and just let people warm them up in microwaves, or say, okay, they're warmed up to order. You know, it takes literally 2 seconds. Throw it in a microwave or throw it in a toaster oven, walk back, and it goes bing, bing, bing. You know, okay, cool, it's done. All right, here's your hot dog, sir, or whatever. It would save so much money. And I just don't get that. Stop throwing away food. Stop wasting it. You know, use your head. All these companies are so, oh, got to pinch pennies, pinch pennies. Well, there's your biggest penny you could pinch by just not warming up food and only warming it up to order. You know, instead of warming up 8 of each hot dog, 5 of each sandwich, and then you're throwing away, you know, 4 of each sandwich and, you know, 7 hot dogs, you know, multiple times a day. So that's my little rants. So on that note, I'm going to click my button and I'll see you all in the next video.